Slideshow presentation.
Oh, there's one right here, man. This is an extra.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Man, I got something for you're good.
Right.
It's just a little something for you and your guys that serve the building. And it's supposed to be here this week. I don't think it's gonna come until June.
Really?
It's not gonna be here till next month, but it's for May. It's Military Appreciation Month, so. May is Military Appreciation Month, yeah.
I know, and I saw it was, Police Appreciation Day was a couple Sundays ago.
Yeah, so what they do is, National Police Week is every, second week of May every year. Usually, as long as the 15th falls in it is what it is, and the 15th will then be Police Day. It's just a week in Washington DC where folks come together for those who've lost their lives, for in the line of duty. Families get to come together and we do a nice fundraiser, a bike ride. I would love to do that one year. I actually bought a road bike specifically to train for it, but biking is much more difficult than I anticipated. So, yeah.
Well, I'd like to do that next year too.
Oh,
That would be cool.
it would be so cool. It's a 300-mile ride.
300?
300,
Wow.
yeah.
I've done a century one time, and so, yeah, I've never done 300. I guess across more than one day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then once you get there, you're a part of all the ceremonies. So you usually ride with an officer's name who's passed away in the line of duty, and it's just a nice tribute.
Okay, so I think Paige brought something out, and so is this something we're going to talk about?
Yeah, just that's just my portion I'm going to go over with you guys as far as my goals and some things that I'm working on this year. I'm going to stand if you don't mind, just makes me more comfortable.
Are you picking this up, or you got?
Yeah, if that's all right. Or am I out of order?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one right there, yeah.
yeah, because I was gonna cover the
Sure.
overarching issues, and then we were gonna go down to the public safety goals, which your overarching.
Not a problem, I will have a seat.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so, I've introduced this mission statement for us. A lot of it is, how we bring a statement that embodies what we're doing, and we're going with the mission statement of committed to the high quality services for the well-being of the resident in making the village a stronger, resilient community. And so we've broken out that mission statement into two strategies. One is the delivery of services, and the other one is what are we working towards making the village a stronger, resilient community. So for the delivery of services, delivering high quality services and excellent value of the tax dollars, and I'll break that out in a future slide. What are going to be the matrix that we use to do that? We've been talking about implementing some sort of customer satisfaction. We started with the police department. Paige worked on a model, not just for the police department, but something to do organizational wide for all of the services. So that's one of the metrics of how successful are we in collecting information. And part of that is because I feel that we have two camps in the community. There's a camp that loves everything that we do and are very supportive of what we do, but they're not vocal. What people hear about, or the folks who hear about council are what might be perceived as a minority voice. And so having the metrics and the feedback gives us tangible numbers to work with. Among that area is also providing greater access for information and services. Personally, I struggle with this one because I think from a transparency perspective, we are super transparent. You compare us to other municipalities or even close to us in the township. The townships don't even put their minutes on the page. And so many things. So we are so far beyond that. So that if you go to any of our YouTube council meetings, the YouTube itself is tagged. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing to get a particular part, you do the click on the drop down, and you can just click on the section, and you can go right to that section in the video, a 3-hour video.
Can we do our meetings like that?
I'm sorry?
Can we do our meetings like that? Just give it.
So we're providing greater access to information. That's, we've been talking about the website. We had a hiccup last year and beginning of this year. It's an expensive ordeal. You know, I criticize the past administration for spending what was like $30,000 to revamp the page, and it's expensive. It's kind of expensive. So I try to do it with little resources, but I think we're just gonna have to spend the money to get the website done. Embrace innovation and continuous process improvements. A lot of policy updates, record keeping. We've been continually expanding on our knowledge base, on our SharePoint site, and just recording information. This innovation piece has been part of what has led to awards. We've gotten awards for implementation of our GIS system, implementation of our work order system. So this is a continuation of that work. And that it's important to document and record those things because they feed back into a learning environment. We are able to learn if we know that we have the information we need to make decisions. And then investing in our teams, looking at providing greater autonomy in the decision making across the organization, not just at our level, but within the organization. We've got the develop HR and performance management system, provide training to all staff on a variety of issues. We also want to look at compensation issues, becoming a more project management or project center organization, and review organizational alignment, workload, and resources. That's where the compensation piece is. All right, so that's on the delivering high quality services. Now, committed to making the village a stronger, resilient community. Our people looking at developing and implementing strategies to improve citizen participation in priority settings. I think we do that continually. We did that with the Limestone project and the comprehensive land use plan. We do it regularly. That's just an ongoing thing, and we'll continue to develop the technology to be able to get that feedback and have that participation. I think now coming out of the COVID environment, and during COVID, we used a lot of town halls to deliver that message and to engage with citizens. I think in a post-COVID environment, it's more in-person meetings. So we've got that on the local economy. There's a lot of emphasis for us on economic development. We had a big hiccup on housing. We were pivoting towards economic development. We've got that Cresco business deal going on. I'm happy to report that we're actually going to get more money on selling a smaller plot of land to Cresco now than we did when we sold them over 8 acres of land. So that project's going to yield $273,000, of which we're going to do the cemetery lot. I would like to pursue the parking lot at Antioch College, the one off Glen Street. This is the one that Glenn Helens opposed us. Limestone and Corey Street. I don't know where Antioch is in this moment in time, but I think the new president, James Fernandez, has really tried nipping this idea that Antioch is selling property. I don't know if this new transaction of the last sale where the Antioch sold this property that's being partial off of commercial lots, we're gonna play into it. But nonetheless, as you know, it won't stop me from making a pitch and trying. So that's on economic development. Obviously, we got broadband, we got business opportunities, we got the railroad lot. After we're done with the storm reroute system, we'll be able to pivot on that railroad lot to make it a developable lot. The strategies for having that lot come to fruition are still the same. You can RFP, we can put out an RFP to get proposals for somebody to develop it, or we develop it ourselves as a spec project. I mean, the spec project means we design the specs and the purpose of the building, and then seek either to sell it or to rent it out. And the prevailing concept right now is to have a mixed-use building with retail on the first floor, professional offices on the second floor, and residential on the third floor. We've got an ongoing marketing campaign for the CPE parcels. Hausch and I followed up on a project that we had planned with the chamber 2 years ago. about marketing for the entire village. So this year, we partnered with the Dayton Business Journal to do a community spotlight. We're sharing the cost with Cresco, and we're highlighting 6 different business initiatives, and among them is promoting Yellow Springs as a destination for businesses. We control all our utilities, we're very pro-business, and bringing about jobs, and that's that's one of our economic development strategies.
Quickie. You know why I'm asking this question? So we did start that conversation as part of YSDC. Do we want any formal support from YSDC on this?
At this point, we basically rolled out the strategy, so all the stories are being lined up. I think that's done. I think the YSDC could probably play a role in any meetings that might be generated out of that. And we picked the Dayton Business Journal because of business community. That's entrepreneurs and businesses that are starting. What I think the Development Corporation can help us, this I had a conversation with Mark Heiss yesterday. Mark attended a economic development forum on businesses that are expected to develop around the Intel chip manufacturing facility in Columbus. And so there's an economic forum about what are the economic opportunities that are gonna come as a result of that development. So I think with Mark and with the Development Corporation, we could probably put together a team to be either sourcing or be on top of what business development opportunities of our manufacturing we can track to the village. All right, in our environment, some of this is the continuous improvement of our electric and water services. That is ongoing. That is stuff we're working on so far behind that we still need to catch up. But we also have economic development activities that are taking place now and in the near future that we have to develop a system in preparation now. An example is Cresco. Cresco is going to triple their load. We need to be able to provide that load. So right now we're doing electrical engineering. Once the electrical engineering is completed, we're going to know what our follow-up steps are. We have a general idea of what we need to do, running new wiring, and maybe parcel off the entire CPE, and if that has its own dedicated line. But we'll know more with once the engineering is done, and when Johnny's turn to go, he can get a little bit more in depth about that. So then we've got a couple things. I know Denise in her presentation, she's going to talk about rolling in the master park plan as part of a larger project. All right, the other slide that's in your packet there is during our retreat. During our retreat, we did a perceived priority analysis. You know, that oftentimes you're working with tunnel vision because you're only able to see what you see and what you know. And so we try to do some analysis of where do we think that our citizens' priorities are, our council priorities, and our staff priorities are. And where things that overlap in the 3 areas, that's where synergies can be created. Because that could provide opportunities to move projects along or initiatives along. So we provide that there to your benefit. I'm happy to go through each one of them, but I'll let you study that. And we can, if you think that there's anything that we're off on there, obviously it doesn't capture everything. It doesn't capture everything. But if there anything in there that you think that is missing, or maybe it's not as serious as we think it is, we welcome feedback. And so that's on the overarching cross-department, organizational-wide goals and strategies.
So I have a comment, in that regard, very small, like, okay. But I've been thinking about what staff has been saying, overworked, underappreciated, but also needing to focus on the fundamentals. Needing to focus on the fundamentals, especially those pieces, like breakdown.
Yeah.
Say, wastewater. Anyway, and yet there are things coming on, like Cresco needing more electricity. So for me, like having some kind of visual thing that staff could make up of priorities in that regard, like if you want to say stormwater or wastewater or what is that other water? What do you call it? The drinking water.
Potable water.
Potable water. What is the ranking? I'm not asking you to answer it right now, but if council members could see, like, this is really, we have to do this, you know, and then this isn't quite a priority. But at the same time, because, for example, Cresco is needing more electricity, we're gonna have to be, that kind of analysis and having it be visual, for me anyway, would be very helpful. And I guess the reason why I started talking